Okay, we got the pro-black dating white debate. Now, this conversation is something that I've been seeing online for about 5 to 6 years now. And the question is basically, can you be pro-black and date outside of your race? Now, I think it's more complicated than yes or no. Yes, you can be for black people's advancement and be an ally to black people, but can you be called pro-black and date outside your race? I don't think so, because in my opinion, being pro-black means you put blackness first in every aspect, and who you date defines you in a way. You know what I'm saying? Who you choose to be with, that's a reflection of you. You can't say you're pro-black and then talk about how you love black people, you put blackness first and all these other aspects, and then you're with a white woman or a Hispanic woman. It doesn't make sense. You know, yes, you can't help who you're attracted to, but you don't have to act on that. You don't have to act on that attraction. You can just keep it pushing and then find you somebody who's black, because there's 20 some million black men and 20 some million black women. You can find somebody black out there that's compatible for you if you're pro-black. So I don't think you can be considered pro-black and date outside your race. That's my opinion, but date whoever you want. You know, I ain't telling nobody how to live their life. I don't do that over here.
Working on a bigger project right now,
But
I was on
but you know, it's
Threads.
really a dumb conversation. It's not really a productive conversation. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really help anything. And your definition of pro-blackness could be different from mine. I told you my definition. Mine is putting blackness first in every aspect. And you can't put blackness first in a bunch of aspects and then not your relationships. That's dumb. You know what I'm
Earlier
saying?
today,
Relationships
which I
are a
need to
part
get
of
off
human
of. I told you I
experience,
left
of the
social
human
media for a long
experience.
time and just
So that
recently got
matters.
back on. Mistake. But anyway, I saw a conversation around this topic and I wanted to address it since it connects to a video I made before this about my thoughts on interracial dating, specifically with people who have one white parent, right? So I made a whole video about that. Go check that out. But the headline here, can you be pro-black and date white people specifically? Outside your race is a whole separate discussion. And what I said in response to that conversation, at least on Threads,
I'm not gonna say you're not pro-black, but I'm gonna say it contradicts pro-blackness, if you know what I'm saying. It contradicts that idea of pro-blackness if your significant other is not black and you want to be pro-black. That's
was
what I'll
that
say.
like, look, I actually don't know where I stand with regard to this question. It should be an easy yes. Logically, I want to say yes, but my personal philosophy kind of runs counter to that, and I'm going to explain why. In my prior video that I just talked about, what I said was that I have a bias against dating people with a white parent because I don't want to bring
Yeah, I
grandpa.
don't want to bring my kid over and then Pawpaw's racist or Meemaw's racist. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that happening. You know what I'm
Chad,
saying?
who is secretly racist or not so secretly racist, into my family. I don't want to go down my wedding list and be like, oh, I got to invite how many white people? Like, no, I don't ever want to even have that conversation. So my anaconda
Yeah.
don't. But as for the rest of y'all, do what you want.
Yeah, do what you
My
want, you
main
know,
point
your life.
there was just kind of having an open conversation about how I choose to date and then trying to reflect on what does that say about me, about my notion of blackness. And it kind of brings me back to the premise we're talking about here. How do you define pro-black? Friends of mine, people I've met along the way, people I've dated who were half white. And so that what that means is that even I've progressed on this topic. I have tried to date people
Yeah,
who
it's
had
an
one white
interesting
parent
topic, definitely.
in my younger years. And I'm not saying something was wrong with them. I'm actually saying
I ain't gonna lie, if you're mixed and I'm messing with you, you gotta have a certain mindset. You gotta already be thinking a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no, you can't be mixed with any kind of white brainwashing is what I'm basically saying. You gotta be full
the
black in the
opposite, right?
mind.
I've met people along the way who
You gotta be
were so
mentally a
down for the
Negro.
cause. Like it made me look at myself like, what am I doing? Like I've met half white people who led initiatives to put money in black people's hands throughout Atlanta.
And just because somebody's you know what I'm saying, that they're mixed, that doesn't mean that, you know, they're any less a part of the cause or the community, because they're still black and you can't help how you got here. You know what I'm saying? Can't
it
help that.
worked. Like the
One,
initiatives
black
they
parents are
put
black.
in place
Black dominates
put
over
more
everything
money
because we're
into
the
black
original
people's
people.
hands, specifically single mothers and women specifically across Atlanta. If that's not pro-black, I don't know what is. There's a lot of freedom fighters in our past from the 60s, as I mentioned before, that are so down for the cause and so pro-black that I don't think there's any way you can formulate an argument to claim that they aren't.
But yeah, I know what you're gonna say. He probably gonna say Frederick Douglass, his last wife was white. You know what I'm saying?
So if we define pro-black as your actions, as a set of actions you perform on a consistent basis that indicate you're advocating for our people and putting on for us and walking and talking in your blackness on a regular basis and being proud of being part of this ethnic group, if that's how you define it, then who you love shouldn't matter. But I think for people who claim it does, it comes down to this kind of counter statement, what they push back with, right? How are you pro-black if your house isn't pro-black? And that's
Yeah,
something
literally, that's a valid point. Like, you can't be all I'm for the niggas and the black people, but then your wife is white. Like, you're talking black and you're sleeping white. That don't make no sense. That's a contradiction.
can dive into
Like, it's
as well.
valid.
Like say you did choose to date a white person
It would be
and you have
crazy.
half white kids with them,
Nah, no half white. It ain't no such thing as half chocolate milk. If you know, you know.
or quarter white if you're mixed yourself.
Ooh, if you're mixed, if you're already black and white and then you go having kids with a white person or fucking with a white person, you are insane. And I better not hear you saying that you're pro-black at all, because you're obviously not. You're literally washing away your black DNA. Your grandkids are going to be saying the N-word looking white and then using your parents as a picture to be like, yeah, I can say the N-word because I got a black grandparent, or my grandparents is black.
Say that's the case. Is your house not
That's why I
pro-black?
don't want to have no mixed kids, me personally, because I don't want my damn grandkids being like, well, I'm not going to say I don't want them being like another race, but I want my grandkids to be black. I don't want no have black grandkids or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or not have black grandkids who are a completely different race than me.
Black because it has non-black people in it. So yeah, what we keep coming back to is, what the hell does pro-black mean? There is a argument that pro-black is an enhanced title. It's not something you give somebody.
Yeah, it's like a how do I say this? It's like a premium title almost, pro-black. Like there's the regular blacks and then there's the pro-blacks. Almost. That's the way they kind of use it.
because they're white and they're super down for the cause. That isn't pro-black. Pro-black is leaning hard in one direction, not just having a friendly bias towards this group of people. So they say. So if that's how we define pro-blackness, as this enhanced title, then there are restrictions on it. Put it this way. If there's boundaries on being black as a person, which there naturally are, we have to gatekeep blackness to some degree, right?
Yeah. We're not doing a good job, but yeah.
Then naturally there's going to be boundaries on being pro-black. I started this video saying I'm not sure, and even the confusion that I've put out here so far leans into that. I'm confused. Like I genuinely don't know where I land on this.
I don't, but this question is so nuanced. I don't think you can land on a, well, if I had to choose a yes or a no, I would say, no, you can't be pro-black and date outside your race. But it's so complicated because you have people who are legends like Frederick Douglass, who his last wife before he died was white. But you can't say that man, a literal abolitionist, was not pro-black. You can't say that. But at the same time, his second wife was white. So
Because
like,
I don't
it's
know
really
the
a nuanced
definition of
question.
pro-black that everybody else is using. So all I can
So
do
I don't
is go
think you
off
can
of
really
my own
answer it with a yes
discernment.
or a no. You got to
And for
explain
me,
it. But mostly I'm on the no side, mostly.
pro-black isn't an enhanced title that means you have to be black to do it. Because let's use another example. Let's use an analogy. I'm pro-queer, if that's a thing, if that's a term people use. I actively advocate for queer people. I go out of my way to mention it in a lot of my videos. I've been called out about that from a lot of heterosexual men specifically, cis heterosexual men. And so if me being pro queer is an acceptable terminology within the queer community, y'all tell me if that's something I'm allowed to call myself as opposed to just being an ally, then no, blackness isn't a requirement to be labeled pro black.
No, I think it is because it's different though. It's different. Like that's different because you're talking about a race and a sexuality. That's different. You can't really, you know what I'm saying? I see what he's trying to do here, but that's different though because there's black gay people and there's white gay people and you know what I'm saying, etc. But there's only just black people. Being pro black is pro your race. Being pro queer is being pro sexuality. So I don't think you can say that. Um, You don't have to be black to be pro-black. I
But
don't
I am
think that's
curious
true.
as to how y'all would define it. And if it
That's
is the
just my
case
perspective,
that blackness is not a prerequisite for being pro-black, then white people can be pro-black. And if white people can be pro-black, then dating them doesn't disqualify you from being pro-black. But again, I have my preferences when it comes to dating, and it is all encompassing. There is no world where I'm going to be dating a person who has a white parent from
Yeah.
at this point. Like I don't think that's something that I
Dang,
would ever entertain.
dang.
People who are listening who have white parents might see that as something offensive to say. I don't know how y'all perceive it. I know last time I talked about this, I got a lot of eye rolls from half
Yeah, I ain't
white
gonna lie. If I
people,
was
mixed
mixed,
people.
see, I'm not a hit dog right now, so I'm not hollering. But if I was mixed and I heard that, I don't know, I would feel away. Well, I'm not gonna say I would feel away because a man is saying he wouldn't date somebody mixed, but I'm saying, you know, that would probably hurt if I was like a female and I was mixed and I was watching this nigga and I heard that shit. It would probably sting, but I understand what he's saying
Well,
and why he's saying it.
hey man, I'm
But it's
sure
a lot
y'all
of,
are.
you know what I'm saying, mixed people out here that are very pro-black, you know what I'm saying? But I'm out of here. This was a good video. I didn't watch all of it. I understand the point of what he's saying, but I got to get up out of here.